We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Mem Zayin Amud Beis in Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 147b. On the previous Amud, Rav Zvid said that if it's cold on Rosh Hashanah, it will be cold the whole year. If it's warm on Rosh Hashanah, it will be warm the whole year. And the Gemara asked, what difference does that make? And the Gemara now answers, L'tfilaso shel Kohen Gadol. It makes a difference for the prayer of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur. The Rashbam explains, L'tfilaso shel Kohen Gadol, Shaya mispalel b'yom HaKippurim, he would daven on Yom Kippur, Shetia, Shana Zu, Keshumo, Shchuna, he would daven that the year should be a good year in terms of the rain, etc. V'yatol lefiha inyan sheyira b'rosh Hashanah yispal b'yom HaKippurim. So now, according to what he sees in terms of what happened, what transpired in Rosh Hashanah, that will frame his davening on Yom Kippur. And Tosas here explain L'tfilaso shel Kohen Gadol, for the prayer of the Kohen Gadol, sheyispalel she'imchama lo tiachama yoster midai. The idea specifically, he'll daven, let's say it was hot on Rosh Hashanah, it shouldn't be too hot throughout the year. V'im krira, if it was cold on Rosh Hashanah, lo tiakrira yoster midai. It shouldn't be too cold throughout the year. And the Gemara continues, V'Rava Amar Rav Nachman, Rava says that Rav Nachman says, Matana Shchimera midrabanan bi'alma. Actually, when it comes to Matana Shchimera, the fact that kinyan takes effect with Dibor bi'alma, just with speech, it's not learned from Sukkim, rather it's midrabanan, it's from the Rabbanan. Shema titaref daito Allah, because we're afraid that he might lose control of his mind because of his grief. And the Rashbam explains, Matna Shchimera shekona be'amira bi'alma, the fact that a Matna Shchimera takes effect just with speech, Eino min HaTorah, that's not midoraisa. Ukroi delel eitza tova kamashmal, on the earlier psukim, that's just eitza tova, that's just good advice. She itzave lebeso b'shas misaso. It's saying that a person should give instructions to his household when he's going to die. Mashi yeshlo litzavos, whatever he needs to instruct. Hein al yedei kinyan, hein al yedei dibor. Whatever's relevant to have a kinyan, he'll do a kinyan. Whatever's relevant with speech, he'll just say it. Can go in devarim shein tzrichin kinyan. You have things that don't require a kinyan. Sha'adam odiel livnei beso, for example, a person might let his household know mi chayev lo klum, who's chayev things to him, umamono v'chafatza biadmi, where is his money, where are his objects, who has them, v'heichen munachin, where is everything placed. Ela midrabanan bial makona, rather the Rabbanan are the ones that say the Matna Shchimera creates a kinyan without having to do a physical action of a kinyan. And what's the reason for that? Gezerah, Shema ad sheyavo edem liknos. It's a gezerah, it's a decree, maybe before he actually gets witnesses there to actually make the kinyan properly. So titaref daito shel chol, he'll lose control of his mind because he's sick. Kodem sheyavo, before these witnesses come. Below yuchal hagnos, he won't be able to do the kinyan properly. V'nimzis savasu b'teil, and then it's going to come out that his instructions are going to be null. They're not going to take effect. But the Rashbam says to this explanation, v'kashli, it's difficult to me. Ma bekach, what difference would that make? Im tibotel, let's say it's going to be null, and he's not going to have good instructions. Me'achar sheino kone ba'amira, tibotel v'tibotel, that's the halacha. If a kinyan doesn't work with speech alone, so then it should be botel. What's the issue? And so therefore the Rashbam offers another interpretation of what the Gemara means. Shema titarif daito olav, that maybe he's going to lose control of his mind. It means as follows, v'lishna achrina mefarshina, and another version is as follows. V'nira be'enai says they explain this, and it appears that this is correct to me. The reason why the Rabbanan say that Amira alone, that speech alone, should create a kinyan, Shemein Devar of Nikanin, because if it didn't happen that way, if his words didn't have an effect, we're afraid actually he's going to lose his mind because of the pain, because now he knows that his sons are not going to fulfill his instructions. In other words, this is a way to calm the chola, that now he realizes, the Shchimera realizes that what he says is going to get done. But the Gemara continues, Umiyomer Rav Nachman Hachi, does Rav Nachman really say this, that a Matna Shchimera is just midrabanan? V'yomer Rav Nachman, but Rav Nachman said, Avagav Damar Shmuel, even though Shmuel said, Hamocher Shtarchov L'chaver, if somebody sells a document of debt to his friend, let's say a person is owed money, and he sells that document to someone else, that now the lokech, the buyer of the document, he should be able to collect the debt. However, Shmuel says, V'chazru Machal, if the seller goes ahead and he forgives the debt, Machal, it actually is forgiven, and the debt cannot be collected by the lokech. The Rashbam discusses whether the buyer, the lokech, can get his money back. That's a different discussion, but the point is he can forgive the debt. Ve'afilu yoresh mochel, and even somebody who's, let's say, a yoresh, who's an heir, he also has the ability, he's an heir to be able to collect this debt. He also has the ability to be mochel, to forgive. And we're saying that even though Shmuel says that mechila works, but Shmuel would admit, Shim nosno b'Matna Shchimera, that let's say the shtarchov was given over as part of a gift of a shchimera, of someone on his deathbed, which is a stronger kind of a matana. So then, de'eno yachol l'mochlo, in that situation, he's not able to be mochel, he's not able to forgive the debt. And so the Gemara says, Yamr b'shlama doraisa, if you're going to say correctly that man shchimera is strong on a doraisa level, so then already you can understand this. Then it makes sense to say that he's not able to forgive the debt, because that is a stronger kind of a matana. But if you're going to say the whole concept of man shchimera is just midrabanan, so why shouldn't he be able to be mochel? It should not be that strong. It shouldn't be so strong that mechila doesn't work. And the Gemara answers to that, no, it could be Eina Shel Torah, it could be it's not Doraisa, but nevertheless, Vasua Keshel Torah, but nevertheless, the Rabbanan made it strong as if it was a Doraisa. Again, for the reason we gave above, Shema Titar if Dai to Olav, it could be the Rabbanan, but it could still be a very strong Kinyan. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Nachman. Rav says that Rav Nachman says, Shchimera sha'amar yoder ploni bebayezel. Let's say a person on his deathbed, he says, so-and-so should live in this house. Or yochal ploni peiros dekelzer. His instruction is that ploni so-and-so should eat the produce from this palm tree. So lo amar klum, that's nothing. Phrasing it in that manner is not effective. At sheyomer, until he says, he has to say it in the following manner, Tenu bayis zel ploni v'yoder bo. Give this house to ploni, to so-and-so, and he will live in it. Or he can say the following, Tenu dekel zel ploni, give this palm tree to so-and-so v'yochal peirosav, and he will eat the fruits of this palm tree. And the Rashbam explains, Amar Rav Nachman, Shchimera shamar yoder ploni v'bayizeh. Again, if a Shchimera says, so-and-so should live in this house, or yochal ploni peiros dekel zer, so-and-so should eat the produce from this dekel, lo amar klum, he hasn't said anything. Shahadira ein ba mamish lahaknosa, because the concept of living somewhere, that's nothing of substance, that's not considered substantial enough to give that as a kinyan. Upeiros dekel nami, and also when it comes to the produce from the palm tree, the makna davar shelo boli olim, you can't give something away that doesn't exist yet; those haven't grown yet. V'kevan dematnas bori afilu b'kinyan suder lo kani demili lo miknu. Since let's say he would have given this as a healthy person, even if he would have done a physical action of a kinyan suder, it wouldn't work. Ela imkein hikna lo hachefetz. The only way it works is if you actually give the object. Kagon dekel lepeirosav. The only way that would work is let's say he gives over the actual palm tree for its produce. In that fashion, it would work. Let's say you give the house in order to live. That would work. But it doesn't work in the fashion that we're describing above, where you say yoder ploni bebayezeh or yochal ploni peiros dekel zeh. That does not work by a healthy person. Let's say he uses a physical action for the kinyan. And so therefore, mana shchimera nami lo kanya. Therefore also, if it's given as a person by a person on his deathbed, it's not going to work. The milsa the less of a bari, less of a shchimera. Because if it doesn't work by a bari, it won't work by a shchimera. She'ein shchimera chomer min habari, because the shchimera is no better, so to speak, no stricter, so to speak, than the healthy person. Ela damirasu b'makom kinyan shel bari, which just means that the words of the shchimera, his amira, his statement, is the equivalent of an actual kinyan done by a bari. But if it's not going to work with an actual kinyan by a bari, it's not going to work with amira by a shchimera. Ve'echadein kinyan moelas b'bari amira b'shchimera lo mahan yamidi. Again, if a kinyan won't work by a bari, so amira by a shchimera won't work at all. Hilkachein moel and sheyomer tenu by zelaploni. Therefore, it's not going to be effective until he actually says, again, in the proper language, he says tenu bayis zelaploni v'yoderbo, or he says tenu dekel zelaploni v'yochal peirosav. And so the Gemara continues, L'meimer, does that mean to say, the Savar of Nachman milsa d'isa b'bari isa b'shchimera, the less of a bari, less of b'shchimera? Does Rav Nachman really hold that if it's effective by a bari, it's effective by a shchimera? If it's not effective by a bari, it's not effective by a shchimera? V'amar Rav Nachman, but didn't Rav say that Rav Nachman said? And the Rashbam explains, L'meimer, the Savar Rav Nachman, lo olim koach hashchimera yoser min habari. Does that mean that Rav Nachman holds the strength of the shchimera is not greater than the healthy person? Ela shamirasu kona kekinyan sudar debari. Rather, just means that again his amira is like the kinyan sudar of a bari. Is that really true? And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Mem Ches Amud Aleph.